Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. Hicks. It's Monday night. I'm sure you've had a good day, hard day, long day. I know you guys have been working hard at school and just trying to stay sane and dealing with all sorts of stuff. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to come at you with our Tuesday recorded class. Today, well, it's Monday night, but today, Tuesday, when you probably watch this, because my guess is not too many of you are going to be searching YouTube for this video at 9:30 at night. You're going to probably be playing video games or baking cookies or talking on the phone or texting or sleeping or doing whatever you should be sleeping. We are going to tackle the next topics. So I'm going to quick share my screen so you can see what topics we're going to cover. We're going to cover a topic called forced vibration. This is a really cool topic. Actually, all of these topics are kind of, the um, same exact concept. They all kind of flow together. That's what I'm trying to say. So forced vibration, natural frequency, and then resonance. If my eyes look like I'm twitching, that's because I actually have my recording screen in front of me, and then I actually have a secondary monitor right over there where I'm looking at the notes page. I'm actually going to try and demo something for you that I hope will show up or end up being listenable, discernible via your ears on this on this video. So what I wanted to do was first talk about the concept of forced vibration. Uh, Basically, every material can probably be forced to vibrate, and it's some materials that's going to be easy, some materials that's going to be much harder. For example, you might try this. It just popped in my head now, or I would have had a meter stick or a ruler here with me. But if you have a meter stick or a ruler and you lay that ruler hanging off the edge of a desk, this is really bad, hanging off the edge of a desk, you can make that ruler vibrate off the edge of the desk. And if it's really sticking far out, really long, it vibrates at one frequency, and you can flick the end and make it vibrate at a different frequency. Longer versus shorter, you get a different frequency, like just by smacking the ruler or like flicking the ruler, and it vibrates at at a frequency. Well, every material can be forced to vibrate. Here, this is a mallet with a rubber stopper on the end that I can whack tuning forks with. I showed you this tuning fork that we're going to use later. I can whack this and force it to vibrate. Wind can buffet something and force it to vibrate, right? It can force a tree. Wind can hit a tree and force it to vibrate. I'm not trying to bring back, bad memories of, 2 weeks ago, but that's what wind does. It hits stuff, it vibrates. It vibrates stuff. Um, so things can be forced to vibrate. Like I have a ring. This is my second wedding ring. My first one was actually gold, and I lost it because I am a terrible husband. Uh, well, I'm terrible because I lost it. I try to be a good guy. But you can force a ring to vibrate. Now, if I sit here and whack it with this thing, it's not gonna vibrate. But you can drop a ring on something really hard, and it will be forced to vibrate, and it will put out some kind of a tone. It's not a nice tone, but that's because you've forced it to vibrate. The material has the elasticity and the availability to vibrate, and so when you whack it, it actually it actually is forced to vibrate. Now, this ring is made out of some type of cobalt combination, but my old gold ring that I lost, it's made out of different material. So since it's made out of different material, you are probably thinking that they're going to vibrate differently, even if they were the same, diameter ring, even if they had the same structure, which my old ring and this ring basically are the same, very simple ring. but they're made out of different materials. So they're going to have a different force vibration. And one of the ways you can tell that is if you were to drop them on the floor, they would actually have a different sound to them. There was a former teacher here who used to like to do that with his history students. He would take a ring and drop it on the ground, and you would hear a different tone. You would hear a different tone from one ring to the next. You may have you may have heard of people who have like amazing hearing abilities, and they're like Rain Man with ears, and you can like drop a penny and drop a quarter, and they can tell you the difference, which one is a penny, which one's a quarter, because they're made out of different materials, they're different sizes. When they whack the ground, that forced vibration puts out a different tone, and it's discernible to them. I'm not ear Rain Man. I'm not any kind of Rain Man. I can't do that type of stuff. But every type of material can be forced to vibrate. Even a table, you can whack a table, and a table will propagate a type of vibration for a very short period of time. So that's just the concept of forcing vibrations. Now, let's actually go back to that shared screen. And that shared screen has this concept of natural frequency, right, on it. So we'll just change force vibration to red because we talked about that. So let's talk about natural frequency. Every material is going to have some type of frequency that it will match with. It'll be compatible with, and that means the vibration is going to actually be more natural and long lasting because it's the right frequency for the type of material. So here's a tuning fork. I don't know if you can see that very clearly, but right there it says 256 with the letter C. This is middle C. It's 256 hertz. That's the natural frequency for this tuning fork, and that's all it's made really to vibrate at. I don't think I could whack this and get it to vibrate at any other frequency. That's its natural frequency. That's what it's made to vibrate at. And so you whack it and it goes at that frequency, right? I take this ring and I drop it and it makes a clanging noise. It's not a nice one. But I don't really know what its natural frequency is. I can force it to vibrate and it'll make a tone, but if I could actually get its natural frequency, which who knows what it would be for being this thick of a ring that's this short, you know, if we were to take this ring and lay it out long ways, it would probably only be about that long, you know, maybe a inch and a half, 2 inches max, right? That's going to have a certain natural frequency that it will vibrate at. There's no guarantee I can whack it with this mallet or, you know, drop it and get it to match that frequency and put out the right tone and continue to vibrate effectively. It just, if you force it to vibrate, it vibrates and then it fizzles out the energy very, very quickly. But if you hit it with a natural frequency, it can actually continue on. So every material has a natural frequency that it will vibrate at, which is pretty interesting. And that natural frequency is dependent upon the material, right? What's it made of? What are its dimensions? What's its elasticity? Its density? All those factors can have an effect on that natural frequency. So we'll knock natural frequency off the list here, and then let's talk about resonance. Resonance is a really awesome concept. I have a resonance demonstration here for you today. I have another one that that I didn't bring home with me. It's still in the science lab. I'll rescue it later this week, pack it away in storage. But resonance is a really awesome concept. You can see this and make it happen. You can make it happen to things. I remember doing this as a kid to a basketball goal. I'll explain that. But resonance is when you, this is the Mr. Hicks definition of it. Resonance is when a material is forced to vibrate at its natural frequency and it continues vibrating and even causes other materials of this of the same natural frequency to vibrate also. So I know that was really bad, Mr. Hicks typing it and saying it, so I'll repeat it. You can see it on there, so I'll insult you by reading it to you. A material is forced to vibrate at its natural frequency, and it continues vibrating and even causes other materials of the same natural frequency to vibrate also. Maybe that also isn't needed at the end. You English literature and grammar whizzes can choose to leave that off if that's not the right way to put it. So every material has a natural frequency, and when you get it at its perfect natural resonance frequency, boom, that thing keeps vibrating, keeps vibrating, keeps vibrating. And what it does is it propagates that energy out, and that energy can go and it can be transferred to other things that have that same natural frequency. So essentially, resonance is forcing a vibration at a natural frequency, which causes other things to vibrate at that same natural frequency. So it's essentially a way of showing that the energy wave that's vibrating over here has caused something else to vibrate over there. And it's the propagation of the wave energy over that caused it to vibrate. It's a really awesome concept. So I kind of did this when I was a kid. I told you we had I told you I did this with a basketball hoop. We had a basketball hoop across the parking lot at my school, and we noticed that it was a really bad rim. It like if you didn't swish it, you bricked it, and it went a mile away. But we noticed it had this weird clanging noise, and we also noticed every once in a while when somebody would like try to dunk on it and pull on it, that the pole would vibrate. Somebody once threw a basketball at it and the pole kind of vibrated, but it fizzled out. What we found was that we could actually go to the pole and we could grab the pole and start pushing on it, and we could actually find its natural frequency. And once we got into rhythm and matched the pulsation of that natural frequency, we made that basketball pole vibrate back and forth, and it would just keep going and keep going and keep going. And it could just vibrate for a pretty long period of time until it fizzled out all of its energy. Sometimes we would vibrate the pole and shoot a free throw on it. And if the ball was coming here and then it hit the rim while it was going, it would brick like halfway across the parking lot. It was pretty cool, pretty fun. So we would vibrate the pole at its natural resonance frequency and it would transfer energy. Okay, so here is an example of resonance. You can see this is a tuning fork. This is actually a pretty big tuning fork. Let me actually zoom it in here. It's on a box. This box here is a hollow box. It helps resonance happen a little bit better. So I'm going to make the tuning fork vibrate, which is going to vibrate the box, which will also vibrate the air in the box. The box acts kind of as an amplifier and a directional device. So here you go. You got the full look of this tuning fork. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to whack it with this mallet, which is essentially forcing it to vibrate. I'm going to stop my screen share because now you'll be able to see it better and larger. I'm glad I got this off the screen share so you can see it. And of course, you want to see the moneymaker here. So I'm going to whack it and it's going to vibrate. I have no clue what you're going to see with the video. You might actually see a little bit of waviness of the vibration because of the refresh rate of the video versus the 256 vibrations of this tuning fork, which is pretty interesting. But I'm going to whack it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the sound. And we're going to see if this has caused resonance, right? This is really cool. I'm already letting the cat out of the bag, right? But this is really fun. So I'm going to whack it. So my guess is you heard that pretty good. So what you should have heard is you should have heard the ring of this tuning fork, and then I put my hand on it and I stopped its vibration, but you didn't hear the sound stop. You didn't hear the sound stop because this tuning fork put out its sound wave and its energy and actually caused something else to vibrate at the same natural frequency. Guess what it caused to vibrate? It caused this matching 256 hertz resonance box to vibrate. Now I know it doesn't 100% match. This has these little sliders that can be screwed, unscrewed, and moved up and down, up and down. And what that does is it shows you that you can manipulate the frequency of this, but I took a long time to get this thing to match the frequency of this tuning fork, so I never move it because it seriously took me a half hour once to get this back to the proper tune. So what happens is I whack this one, I stop this one, but this one still vibrates and you could still hear the sound. The vibration of this one forced this tuning fork to vibrate. So I'm going to do it again. I don't know if I'm, there we go. I can get both tuning forks in frame. This is real redneck, but hey, that's where we're at. We're at distance learning. Do it however you can. So I'm going to whack it. I don't think it transferred very well because I had the boxes touching. Let's try it again. This one sent its energy wave this way to hit the limbs here and also in between the boxes, and that's resonance. Causes it to vibrate at its natural frequency. Now, one of the other coolest illustrations of this is actually a video that I'm sorry I did not get off of YouTube to show you right now, but what I will do is post a link to it, and it's actually of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to type that up here on the screen share. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge is in Tacoma, was in Tacoma, Washington. It's no longer there. I don't remember when it was, 60s, 70s, long before any of us were born. This bridge was a cable suspension bridge, and it was very expensive, and they had that thing up and running, and within a month, I think, of having that thing up and running, it was being buffeted by winds. And the winds had a certain frequency. They had a pulsation, right? And they were buffeting the bridge, and it actually matched the natural resonance frequency of the bridge. And the bridge started to vibrate, like twisting vibrate, but also undulate like a wave, like a transverse wave. And the bridge did that for a series of minutes. I don't remember how long, and it actually collapsed. It was not able to handle that vibration. I believe we talked about in our bridge building project needing to have bridges that can handle the winds that come at them. That was foreshadowing for this topic. I know talking about bridges and resonance in a sound wave chapter doesn't exactly fit, but on the other hand, it does, because the bridge resonated. It was forced to vibrate by the wind at the natural matching resonance frequency of the bridge, and the bridge just started vibrating, and it kept vibrating as long as the wind was continuing to hit it. That bad boy kept vibrating and twisting, and eventually that bridge broke apart. I'll find the video for you. It's really old. It's got bad audio, video, but it's really cool to see. No one was hurt. I believe the only loss of life was a dog. Someone went out there to get the dog out of a car, and the dog just would not come out of the car. And they decided human life needs to get off the bridge. And unfortunately, the dog died in the car. The whole bridge collapsed. So we'll look that up, and we'll get a link to it. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge. It's pretty cool. It's an illustration of resonance. Another great place where resonance happens is with guitar strings. I don't know if any of you play guitar. I don't, but I've learned this by watching a few guitarists do it. So you've got 6 different strings on a regular guitar, and they're all different notes. But you know, you can push your finger onto a string on the fret and make it play a different note. So what you can do is you can take the largest string and tune it. And then what you can do is go down a couple frets to whatever note makes it match the note of the next string. So let's say the largest string is an E string, and the next string next to it is a B. You would pinch the E string till it was on the B note. And if you pluck the E string, which you're pushing to be a B, if it matches the frequency of the string next to it, which is a B, it will force that one to vibrate. It's a way of quick tuning a guitar. You tune one string, and then you press it on the fret to match the next string next to it. And if the next string matches it close enough, it causes that one to vibrate. And then you can do the same thing. Just shift down a couple frets to the next, and you just keep going note to note to note, string to string to string, and you can quick tune it by resonance. As long as you get one string in tune, you can then resonantly tune all the other strings, and you'll actually see guitarists do it. It's actually a pretty interesting concept. My brother-in-law plays guitar. He does it. I've seen Mr. Haston do it because Mr. Haston is a killer guitar player. So hopefully these concepts are making sense to you. I would have enjoyed showing you that demo in person, you know, because I can do it in the huge physics room. I can do this up front and then have the other one in the back, and it keeps ringing. It's just really cool. And I have another device that shows resonance. So I hope you guys are having a good day, a good week. We'll catch back up with you on Wednesday. I'll answer any questions you have. And then what do we have Thursday? Thursday, we have homework number 2 that we're going to grade in class. We're going to do it in class. The quiz is already active for you, so get that done. I appreciate you guys. Hope you're having a good week. Mrs. Fizz Hicks signing off. Bye.